to the show, cause we live on air, yeah.
Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Tech Zone here live from CES 2017. I am Paul Amadeus Lane. I'm so happy to have you with me today. It's day 2. The madness continues to go. We're having a blast finding out some new technologies. It was interesting. Last night we went to Showstoppers at the Wynn, and I tell you, some of the technology that we are noticing that's really, I guess, being highlighted during the CES is health technology. There's a lot of things tech when it comes to health. We walked into first aid technology. ADT is here talking about their technology with home safety. So it's a lot more than just the televisions. It's a lot more than just the toasters that it was a long time ago. And one of the things that really kind of made me just think about things globally was the press conference we went to on Monday. No, it was Tuesday, with the Consumer Technology Association head of market research, Steve Koenig. Steve was talking about how global things are doing, how the Magnificent Seven is doing when it comes to devices. And he talked about how we're starting to see a trend dip when it comes to television displays. And why is that? It's because of a lot of streaming now. A lot of people are streaming on their tablets. They're streaming on their smartphones. So there's a lot of things out there that is happening. Steve's going to be joining me today exclusively on YouTube talking about the state of the global technology when it comes to the consumer technology field. So we're going to have him today about 3 p.m. So you don't want to miss that. But speaking about technology, speaking about streaming, my great friend joins me here live from the floor, talking about Claudia Barbiero. She is from LiveU. She's been on the show a couple times. She is the VP of Marketing and all the great things going on here. Claudia, how you doing, my dear?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Paul. It's good to be here again.
Claudia, it's amazing to have you with me, my dear. So, how's your CES going?
I'm exhausted already, but no, in all seriousness, it's really eye-opening. I haven't even had a chance to see many of the exhibits yet because I've been engaged in a lot of interviews, a lot of different speaking opportunities. There's a whole multiple tracks of activities that go on here at CES. It's lots of cool exhibits. There's stuff here in the convention center, but I think what many people don't realize is that CES kind of takes over Las Vegas, and there's stuff happening at the Sands Expo, there's stuff in the Aria and the Wynn, and all focused on different types of technologies. And at the end of the day, not everybody can be here, so being able to get the word out, the behind-the-scenes scoop on all the cool new things that are happening, but also where the state of the industry is today and where it's headed, it's important for people at home to be able to get a chance to see some of it. So I've been really excited to be able to be a little part of that behind the scenes by talking with a lot of our customers that are also broadcasting here from the show live.
And Claudia, we know when it comes to how things are going with streaming, and you guys are at the forefront of that. So we know a lot of people are streaming. A lot of the things that your customers are doing with LiveU is on the tablet, on the smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
So we're starting to see that shift now when it comes to television displays to handheld devices.
Right.
And at LiveU, did you guys kind of foresee this to say, a lot of people are getting this content on their handheld devices, so let's make sure we're in the forefront of it?
I think that's an interesting question because we really are on the acquisition side. And what that means is all of our product and technology has always been focused on how people are acquiring that content in order to get it out for broadcast, whether it's to linear television or other online video platforms or whatever viewing device people are on. So I think we actually had that opportunity where we were sort of able to take a step back and see where the trends were going and where things were happening. But because of that, we're able to say, it's not just the traditional broadcaster or regional sports network that's going live from around the globe. It's not just a breaking news event. There are online content creators and broadcasters of all shapes and sizes out there that need technology to get high quality, good quality content out. But exactly that, now it's about how people are watching. And that's why for us it's key. We are a live video company. It's all about the live. And now that people no longer sort of have that appointment television as much as we have in the past because they're streaming on different devices, watching, binge watching programs. There's online streaming companies that are creating content specifically for that platform. Now all of a sudden the discussion is around live. How is live video getting to those different platforms? How can I watch a live video on my phone, on my iPad, on my desktop, and on my television? So, we had the opportunity to sort of see that as it was progressing and understand that the need for good quality content, whatever the viewing platform is still important and relevant. So we're able to kind of keep in pace with that, just as the camera manufacturers and the phone manufacturers were keeping pace with that. We were able to keep pace with it and get our technology in smaller, more user-friendly formats so that people other than someone with a big giant production team or big giant budgets could also take advantage of.
And Claudia, what does it take to, I guess, have the foresight to know this is coming? You know what I mean? Because nobody really knows. When it comes to R&D and doing your research, it's like, okay, we hope that it goes this way. But how do you know you're on the right track when it comes to a company? Because you guys are, because I'm looking at everything that you guys are doing. How difficult is that to really look at something and say, hey, this is the right track they're on?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is good that I have teenagers at home. Just kidding. But in all seriousness, it is. There's tons of industry reports and analytics out there that do 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But I don't think anyone really saw how fast social media platforms were going to take over as kind of the online video platform of choice, including the live video platform of choice. We all saw the trend going. There's a lot of great online video providers and content delivery networks out there that we are partners with, so we get a chance to work alongside of them and develop, and we get that kind of inside perspective by working so closely with them. But honestly speaking, 2016 really was the year of social media, and let's just say it, Facebook, for really kind of breaking those doors wide open and making everyone on the planet an online broadcaster, and not just an online broadcaster, but a live online broadcaster. And they have invested so much money that right now it's not 5 years from now. We're not looking at projections from that. It really is just keeping a pulse with what's happening on a daily basis. Each month you can see the reports jump of how much more live online video is consumed, how OTT devices are jumping in terms of the amount of hours that are spent viewing video and live video on those devices versus traditional televisions and the like. So it's almost like to keep pace, you just have to stay alive and keep moving, because there is no what's going to happen around the corner. You can see that even advertisers today are freaking out in a way, trying to figure out how are they going to plan their media buys, because there's so many new developments in terms of where can they get their message across, new different types of ways they have to create their ad content to get it out on these different platforms, because it's different content. You're reaching the same audience, but an audience that wants to digest and view and watch in different ways than a traditional television audience or traditional advertising on television goes. So to answer your question, there is no quick answer. It's really just keep moving forward in time. You can go through the halls here and see technology that will blow your mind, like you were saying, from medical devices to smart home technology. I mean, it's stuff that's been around, but it is integrating together and growing exponentially. It's almost unfathomable what people are doing today. So it is. It's take a deep breath and jump in and use your own experience. I mean, we are all consumers of content. I know myself, I'm not a millennial and of that generation, but I am definitely part of the statistics that are driving what's happening out there. In my hotel room last night, after I got done with my work, in case my boss is watching, I did do a little binge watching on Netflix just to get to sleep. 3 years ago, I never watched anything online. Maybe I did caught up on my DVR, but I was going to say TiVo, but that really would have dated me. But
well, they're actually in this year.
Yeah, I know. I should be quiet. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, even my habits have changed. So even when you think about how more video is being watched on a phone, there now as a content creator, you also have to think of creating things in multiple ways in case people are watching horizontally on their desktop, or if they're watching on their phone where it's vertical. So there's all sorts of cool technologies in terms of that content capture that broadcasters and content creators need to start thinking about too. How do you dynamically make sure your content is viewed perfectly across all of those different viewing platforms? I found myself over the holiday season, when I had a little time off, I was literally going from my television to my iPad to my phone as I was walking through my house, and actually just sort of changing devices, but sort of watching the same content or checking on a recipe while I was listening to some music streaming from Pandora, while I was also catching up on the news. It almost astounded me how uber connected I was when I was technically on my day off, relaxing at home.
I know the feeling. I do the same thing. And one thing I like about streaming too is that the content is accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Because around the world, in a lot of underdeveloped
Yes.
countries out there, they don't have the TVs or the displays we have, but they have smartphones. I was watching a video the other day of someone in Africa and out in the sticks, and they had their smartphone showing the video. And I'm like, wow, the technology that we have with streaming is definitely, I never thought in a million years that we would see things like that and it'd be so accessible. And when it comes to, like, let's say streaming content and the state of streaming that we see today, what do you think the next big thing in streaming is going to be besides LiveU? Because we know that's
Sure.
the next big thing. But what's the next big thing you think?
It is, I've been asked that question a couple of times, and it is difficult to answer because it is constantly evolving. Honestly, I do believe live is the key component. I don't know if it's the next big thing because it's already here, but I think the ways in which people are going live and also where they're reaching an audience. I'll give you an example of what I mean. There's a great company out there called charitywater.org, and they're all about bringing clean water to different developing countries. They had their annual big donors ball at the Metropolitan Museum in New York. So it's a very big, fancy, shishi affair, but for a very good cause. What they realized is they wanted these donors to really get a feel for what it was like for a community to see that first fresh water spring to life. So having video being shown on a big screen at a ball would be great, right? What they did is they actually were able to go to Africa, and because of the time zone, they did a live opening of a well. So the
Wow.
people there, all in their fancy digs and having this nice fancy event in the evening, got to actually see firsthand where their money was going to and see the reaction on the faces of this community. I'm actually getting chill bumps just talking about it.
I'm like, this is so cool.
And actually got to see the reaction of their faces live in real time, right there in the environment that they were. It was beautiful and magical. And that's something that never could have been done, or if it was done, it was a super expensive activity. And this is a charitable organization that survives purely on donations. So they don't have the resources to bring a huge production team. But how valuable it is to really drive home the message of this is where your money's going to, and look at these families in this community so excited about what they were able to help accomplish. I mean, so maybe that's not the next big thing, but think about that, is that you just basically brought the whole world together for an instant to a small targeted group.
Yeah.
But for that small targeted group, it was a very impactful message and will help something good continue forward. So I can see live video becoming less about, here's some great entertainment news, here we are all at CES, here are all these cool gadgets, but really about being able to target your message and reach an audience in real time. We never could do that before. And with all the new data and analytics that are out there, with all the new technologies to be able to live broadcast from anywhere, you can really see how these things can come together, not just to sell product or to do fun entertainment, but actually to maybe change and create a really unique thing that could happen in our world, all by being able to communicate in a new and more interactive and dynamic way, and having the audience at home be able to participate too with things like social media. I'm watching a live video and I can actually comment and interact with other people that are watching. The person that's broadcasting, like yourself, you can actually ask me a question now live.
Absolutely.
Dynamically, and we can gear the discussion that way. It's not passive anymore. It's truly interactive.
It's so true, and I think that is something major and huge, especially in the time in which we live in, where we need instant content. Let's say if something, God forbid, happens,
Right.
we're able to go live. We're able to let people know their family members are okay, or this, you can go to this shelter over here if something is happening. And I think your company, I think I articulate this to you before in our other interviews, is on the right side of history when it comes to this, because it's one thing to have content, and it's one thing to have content that's accessible,
Right.
without being edited. Because sometimes people are like, well, you edited that, I don't know, but it's good. And about that, well, I mean, I wish I would have saw that, because that was just...
Yeah, it was very moving. But, you hit on an interesting point, too, because when we do look at the millennial generation, and I know it's almost a buzzword now, but it is very true, there is a much more focus on authentic content. And you'll see a lot of new news online communities, and their whole message or mission statement is that authentic content. That can be interpreted a bunch of different ways, but I do think younger generations don't want that edited reality. They actually want to be able to see firsthand and then make their own assumptions on what they're watching. So maybe that's more along the lines of breaking news or what's happening in global events. But by having that happen live and in real time, you don't get the added imposition of someone else's opinions. I mean, we all do. We're going to speak from our own hearts, but the viewer at home gets a chance to have an authentic experience with that content. So I do think that's a very interesting point about the direction things are headed into.
And Claudia, one thing that I truly appreciate is you and the team over there helping me out with my quest to streaming live when I do certain events.
Mm-hmm.
I know here at CES, E3, Comic-Con, all those things, and I really appreciate what you're doing to help me out as well too. But when you look at just what you guys are doing here at CES,
Yeah.
you guys have helped out a lot of broadcasters that are streaming right now. They're getting a lot of content.
Yeah.
And how many, if you can comment, how many are you guys working with during this time?
I was actually trying to do a little count today. It's tricky and difficult because there's a lot of major broadcasters as well as online vloggers and all in between. You cannot walk through the hall right now without bumping into someone holding a camera. And most likely they do have some type of LiveU pack on or one of the little handheld devices. But I did a little brief count this morning. I was over at a couple other broadcast platforms doing some similar interviews, and I saw about 20 or 30 LiveU packs. So it's but you have to understand they're also moving around again because it's spread all over the place. What they're doing is they're grabbing and going. They have a lot of, just to give everyone at home a little behind the scenes, you're here in a broadcast platform full of a bunch of other broadcasters with your little setup and all your equipment and going. There are setups like this in every hall, over at every hotel where there's additional exhibits. So the amount of frequency, the amount of cellular RF congestion that's going on is quite astounding. And that is why most of our customers have brought our equipment, because then they'll be able to cut through that and still have a good quality stream, whether they're going to their morning show programs on regular television stations or if they're also doing to second screen, to their websites, YouTube, Facebook, you name it. So it is quite exciting. Just roaming around, and I was wearing my LiveU hat earlier today just because I didn't finish doing my hair, and it was fun walking past a couple of the photogs and the MMJs. They were like, LiveU. We really do have a great community of people, not just the on-camera folks, but really the broadcast engineers and the multimedia journalists and the people that really do a lot of running around. Can't tell you the number of times I talk to them, and they all go, it's so great not having to lug anything heavy around. That LiveU pack is so lightweight and makes my job so much easier, and it's reliable, and that's always fun and good. So it's less of a plug, but more of a little shout out to everybody out there that's working their butts off trying to get a lot of great content out here from CES. I feel your pain. My feet hurt too.
And I love the solo.
Yeah.
That you guys are letting me use, and it's amazing. It's small, it's compact, and Claudia is truly a professional. She gave me the business the other day because I was doing some Facebook Live. She's like, wait a minute, our solution is better than that. So use it. So, but I appreciate that because that's.
I was watching, right?
Yeah,
so that's good.
It is. And I appreciate it because it shows that you want the best for once out there, and and I really really appreciate that, and I appreciate what you and the team are doing to help me as well too. So
thank you.
Thank you. So before we let you go, my dear.
Yes.
Why don't we let ones know how they can continue to follow LiveU, some of the things you're doing, because
Sure.
we didn't even touch on what you guys did in Rio. We didn't touch
I
on
know.
what you guys did.
Well, we got the inauguration coming
Inauguration.
up and the Super Bowl, because we also do a lot of on-site support and additional Wi-Fi at events like that. But if anyone's interested here, we're actually partnered up with another broadcaster, and we're doing Facebook Live hits all throughout the course of the show, basically with their guests. So there's some cool tech that you can also get on the side as well. But that you can follow us at our Facebook is LiveU Fans. Follow us on Twitter at LiveU. But you can go to www.liveu.tv to learn about all of our technologies. But definitely do a little search on Solo, SOLO, because that really is the product that you were talking about, Paul, that we're excited to see what you can do with at these upcoming events. And that really is a product that takes what these big broadcasters use, but puts it in the palm of the hands of literally anyone that's got a DSLR camera and wants to go live.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Claudia, it's awesome.
Thank you.
Having you with me.
I love coming on your show.
She's
Yes.
a regular guest on the Tech Zone. We'll talk to her again after Super Bowl, and I'm gonna see if she can hook me up some Super Bowl tickets.
We'll see. I have to get tickets though
I hear
too.
you. I was like, I'll be like your page or something, like Miss Barbiero. Can I do this? Can I do that?
I like that. Yes.
Yeah, we'll have some fun. But Claudia, it's been amazing having you
Thank
on.
you so
and
much.
take care of yourself, and we look forward to catching up with you after the show, after we all recuperate
Yes.
from this madness.
Yes, thank
you
you.
so much,
Bye.
my dear. All right, this is the Tech Zone. I'm Paul Amadeus Lane. And what we're going to do right now, we'll take our break, and when we get back, we'll be joined by more great guests joining us here on the Tech Zone. So, Sean, if you can take it away, my friend, and we'll be back right after these messages.